Okay. Here. Okay. So, welcome. I hope everybody is well, and I hope everything is working here. First of all, today is the birthday of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. He's 85 now, and I think he's such a great Bodhisattva. So please have him in mind today, and yeah, dedicate some merit for his long life. I just have to do something here. Yeah, and then also today, unfortunately, we have only 1 hour because I have to leave a little bit soonish. Soonish, not soonish, but earlier. Yeah, so please, everybody, in order to start, please generate bodhichitta first. This authentic heart, that wants to liberate all sentient beings, oneself included, of course, and that knows that even though everything is like an illusion, and even though there are causes of happiness, sentient beings usually don't see the illusion-like nature of things, and they don't know the causes of happiness, and therefore they're entangling themselves more and more. So please, for their sake, we want to attain Buddhahood. So if you want, we could even say, yeah, our aim is not Buddhahood, but our aim is to help sentient beings. And in order to do so, Buddhahood is the best tool or method. Yeah, so please direct your mind and your intention towards that aim. And if we look into the text where we are, on that path to attain Buddhahood in order to help others, we are in the 5th chapter where we try to be more vigilant, more mindful, more conscientious, and more aware, and therefore, so that we are less entangled in emotions and less entangled in obscurations or discursive thoughts. And here at the moment where we are trying to develop that discipline of being more vigilant and being more aware and mindful. And for that, it is necessary also to figure out what are the objects we have aversion with, or what are the objects that we have attachment towards. And the verses today, this is verse 59 onwards, is dealing with the body, because body, our physical body, is usually something we are too attached with or towards, I don't know. So therefore we are here, Shantideva is quite like, what is it? Not tenderly, but the opposite, maybe roughly or grossly even, showing us, I don't know, the ugliness or uselessness or dirtiness or impurity of our physical body, just to counteract our excessive attachment to the body. And if we have less attachment to the body, in other words, if we have more detachment from the body, then we are more able to focus on others, to keep our discipline, to keep our precept. So as often in this text, especially in the first 8 chapters, this is what the verses we are discussing today, please understand them in this context. They are not, let's say, the absolute truth, that are always correct, or that are methods for everyone. Please don't take these verses like that. These verses are only to decrease our attachment to our body. So I would say, if you have aversion to your body, to your own body, then maybe don't join this session today, because then these verses are not necessary. If you have aversion to your own body, then yes, we need different methods, like precious human life, or maybe even Vajrayana methods, where we don't see the body as something negative or ugly, but more like a temple kind of thing, or more like a deity kind of thing. But here at the moment, the focus and the emphasis of Shantideva is just to reduce or cut this attachment to our physical body that most of us have, and that is sort of resulting in spending too much time caring about our body, or seeing our happiness or our physical pleasure as something that is more important than the pleasure or happiness of others, those kind of things. And Shantideva is not saying our precious human life is not precious. He's not saying this here. He's just saying don't get attached to it. So, and I hope we can cover maybe the next 12 verses, which is 59 to 70. And and then you will see how he's doing it. And so let's see, where's the text? I think I can share it somewhere. Here. So I think you can only, hopefully only can see this verse here, and you don't see the mess on my computer. I see mostly my mess. Okay, so I think that was hopefully sufficient as an introduction where we are and why we are doing what we are doing here. And so let's start with verse 59 here. So, if mind, you are not made unhappy when this body is dragged and tossed about by the vultures greedy for flesh, then why are you so concerned about it now? Who's laughing there?
Sorry, it's Effie. I forgot to mute. I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. It's nice to hear some laughter. So, Shanideva's point here is, and that is of course actually it fits also to the Tibetan culture, even though he was of course Indian, but apparently Indians, or in India there have also been a lot of vultures. Maybe nowadays we can talk about worms and insects, when we are buried. The point here is, okay, once we are dead, and then here, let's say vultures, they're full of greed and hunger and desire, they push and pull our bodies back and forth, and they eat parts of it, and scatter pieces here and there, and then other animals come, like this, like in the old cemeteries, or just in the open field, you can visualize that. So that is sort of happening when we are dead, and we don't mind so much, we don't care, we don't we are not unhappy if we visualize that, because we think, yeah, it's just our body, and so what, and so if this is the case, Shantideva is saying, then why are we attached to the body now? Why, for example, do we give the body so much food or makeup or clothes, or why do we protect our bodies so much, um, and defend it so much? If somebody is saying, oh, you have like strange ears, or big nose, and why are we so protective about it? This is really not necessary, and it's not really suitable also. And so please, Shantideva is saying, yeah, please abandon the attachment to your body. Really, we will get into it. There will be more verses on that same point here. Like verse 60, holding this body as mine, why mind do you guard it so? Since you and it are separate, what use can it be to you? Mm. So here the first point is, yeah, we should really understand that we are not the body, right? This is, we also don't say, I am this body. We are more saying, this is my body, right? And this already implies that there's some owner that is owning and possessing the body. But even that is debatable, if we really own the body. But that's maybe another point. But definitely we are not the body. And therefore, yeah, there's not. So therefore, the body is more like a tool, or like a like a good vehicle or support for other things. But the body is not us, and therefore, why do we protect it so much, and why are we having so much attachment to the body? And of course, here we hopefully can remember whatever Shantideva or other masters say about attachment in general, why it creates suffering and why it limits our mind and why it blurs our mind. And so here Shantideva is saying, yeah, since you and the body are separate, what use can it be for you? And that, if we study Dhammakirti, I don't know if you have ever studied Pramanavartika. Their Dhammakirti is also like contemplating and reflecting on how different body and mind are. Like they're really different entities. So that is a huge topic. And since we are stopping half an hour earlier today than usual, you have half an hour suddenly at hand to maybe contemplate on that, what is body and what is body and mind, and how are they connected, or how are they different? It's obvious from Buddhist point of view. It's the mind that is sort of traveling, or the consciousness, or the stream of mind, or stream of consciousness that is traveling from life to life and getting or manifesting or projecting one body after the other. So that is sort of one part, having this mind or this mind stream. But then the other part is this body. And this body, of course, doesn't come like this, but it has like material building blocks, which are the ovum, is it called, right? From the mother, and then the sperm from the father. And they come together. And then the sort of the mind is drawn into it thanks to the karmic wind. And then we have this body-mind thing. But then the body it starts with like 1 cell, 2 cells, 4 cells, 8 cells, and so on. Embryo, and then baby, and then getting older, and then dying, and then the body dies, but the mind doesn't. That is the main point. Why reincarnation is happening, because the mind and the body are not are not the same. Are separate, and they never have been the same, and they always have been separate, but sort of they are connected. And this is maybe something really to contemplate about. How are they connected? Because one is influencing the other, obviously. If I have physical pain, I get mentally angry maybe, or impatient. And if I'm mentally something like angry or lustful, then of course I can see physical changes also. So it's going both ways. Anyway, the point, so there must be a connection or some influence, but they are not same, but they are separate. And they have not been together since beginningless time, but only from the moment of conception. And they will not be together for endless time, but at the moment of death, or maybe after the tuktam, if we are good practitioners, at some point, or if we are too good shamatha practitioners, we end up like we're mummifying our body, and still we are a little bit our mind is still in it, which is not what we desire. But anyway, at some point, then the mind and the body, they separate, and so therefore, what use can this body be for me? That is Shantideva's idea here. Jangshub said something. I guess it's an important point, because Buddha answered on this question by a noble silence. Body, soul relationship. Soul, I think Buddha would not say. But I know what you mean. Like, body and mind. But of course, depends on how we define soul. But the point here is, they're coming together for the time being, and it's definite they will part again. I mean, that is the whole idea why in Buddhism we focus mainly on mind training, lojong, and not so much on lujong, which is body training. Of course, there's lujong, there is this bodily exercise, but that is more like a indirect training, in order to train the mind, or in order to have a good temple, let's say, for the mind. And then verse 61 is then an answer to what we maybe think. We might think, oh yeah, but I have this body since long time, and it did quite well so far, so I have to protect it. And Shantideva is answering here, why, confused mind, do you not hold onto a clean wooden form? Just what is the point of guarding this putrid, dirt-filled machine? Yeah, so I told you, it's it's not very not very subtle how Shantideva is now starting his analysis. But he's saying, if you want to cling to something, then you can sort of do better, then maybe get like a nice sandalwood, which has a nice smell. I think a sandalwood smell, I would say, and then carve maybe a figure out of it, maybe even life-size body out of sandalwood, and so that will smell very nicely. It's easy to maintain. It's very firm and not so fragile, and you can clean it easily. So why not do that and cling to that? Because what here is the point? Shantideva is asking to cling to this putrid, dirt-filled machine. Yeah, really, for me, sometimes these verses are a little bit difficult because I think machine is referring, yeah, that the body is some functional thing, you know, like with different mechanisms. But I actually, from medical point of view, I was always so impressed by understanding these mechanisms, you know, because it's an amazingly miraculous thing, you know, how this miraculous machine is working, you know, and how so many different factors come together, and you know, like physical and from hormones and electric impulses, you know, and how everything plays together. For me, that's a miraculous or magical machine. But anyway, that is apparently not the point here. And also from medical point of view, I hope that it's not putrid, because that is always like a disease, you know, if you have pus somewhere. But maybe putrid could be like also the smell of something, but still that I think implies a disease. Anyway, the point here is, the body is smelly, you know, of course, if you look in the intestines, you know, the urine and whatever you have in different orifices, you know, nose, ears, and so it's not so it's not so pure, but I think I have to use that word since Shantideva was saying dirty, you know. And the body, is like that. Plus, it's like a machine, you know. It's just like bones and muscles and tendons and skin, you know. And they basically do two things, you know. They contract and then they stretch, you know. That's it. And as I said, you know, whatever they produce is sort of impure. I mean, you know, let's think about pus, of course, if you're not so well, but just a stool, you know, we wouldn't eat it. Urine, we wouldn't drink it. Even saliva, which we have in our mouth, you know, we wouldn't eat it, you know, if it once it touches, once it's out of our mouth, you know, on a table, let's say, we would not put it back, you know. It's so strange. Even I think maybe it's only me, but I think I heard that from Khyentse Rinpoche. So that is really something to to contemplate upon, I think. So basically, that is the idea of Shantideva here, that it's maybe disgusting, you know, if you think about it. And there's nothing really pure. Like if you also remove the skin, you know, you feel like, oh, it looks terrible. Pallavi is saying, is it on a relative level we always say body and mind are inseparable and interconnected? So this is mentioned here as ultimate level. I never heard that on relative level mind and body are inseparable. They are interconnected, and that's what I said. You know, if I'm angry, you know, that has an effect on my body. You know, my heart beats faster, or my blood pressure rises, and I'm getting red, and my movements are stronger and stuff. You know, and other way around also. If whatever. Earlier I said pain, and that if I have chronic pain, you know, then that also changes my mindset. So yes, it's interconnected, but I don't think on a relative level anybody would say it's inseparable, because really, like, the body is substance, right? It's material. So therefore, material is something tangible. It is something with a location. And it's something that we can cut with something that is material. But the mind is of a total different substance, quote unquote, you know. It is it's not material, it's not tangible, it's not cuttable, it's not locatable. So therefore I would not agree that they are inseparable, because it's easy, you know. I can just cut my my arm, and then there's no connection anymore between my body and mind. I mean, the part of my arm that is gone, it's very separatable. So yeah, but on a relative level, it's interconnected. That's what I would that's definitely what I want to say and emphasize. This is the whole psychosomatic thing what we have in Tibetan medicine also very strongly. Where all diseases come from basically from the mind. It's so psychosomatic. Like we have ignorance, out of that comes attachment and aversion, and these three, they create the humorous, it's called. Mm, like ignorance creates phlegm, or anger creates heat, or attachment creates wind, and then if we have excessive of these, then any disease comes about. So that is so super psychosomatic. Yeah. And on the ultimate level, that's I think interesting. Of course, the body is not really truly existent, and neither is the mind. So both are empty by nature. And then you can think, maybe the emptinesses maybe on that level they are inseparable, because on emptiness level everything is inseparable. So maybe on that level, actually, it would be more like that. From the nature point of view, like really the ultimate nature. Because then on that level, yeah, everything comes from the mind anyway. Okay, and then Jangshub says, so from my point of view, it's bone, urine, it's urine. Maybe it's a blessing of medicine, but I see just liquids and so on. I can't generate positive aversion in this way. So what should I do with it? Oh, then eat your shit, yeah, and drink your urine. If you don't have aversion to it, let's see if you can do it. And maybe if you can't, then it's if you can't, then you have that positive aversion. Really. Sorry, I didn't want to be rude by saying eat your shit. I think that is a bad thing to say, but I hope you got what I meant. It's really like no, test it. And if you don't have any aversion, then that's great. That's a good thing. And yeah, or vomit and eat your vomit again. Um, yeah, I even though I think it's an amazing thing, the body, it's an amazing system, and I don't know how it happened that it can be working that that complex way, but still. I a little bit can see Shantideva's, not a little bit only, but I can see Shantideva's point here, because I do have positive aversion against all these liquids and stuff that my body is producing, and of course also the what other bodies produce. Okay, wait, yeah, 62 now. And this is an answer to the thought, oh, maybe there is some wholesome or positive or pure essence in our body. That is what we might think. And this, I think, is then answered in 62 and 63. So here Shantideva is asking us to mentally, please highlight that, mentally, what is it? Dissect your body, mentally. And then, yeah, just check, So first of all, mentally, please emphasize on that. Separate the layers of skin from the flesh, and then with a scalpel or knife of discrimination, separate the flesh from the skeletal frame. Yeah, really, for me, even though I worked in medicine, I never did it in English, so for me, these are really like um, vocabularies that are not so common to me. um, yeah, so we should have a thorough look at our body, and we should use our wisdom to then analyze, and dissect our body. Mm, and yeah, so we yeah, I don't know, we separate all body parts, and then we look into each body part, and yeah, let's try if we find an essence there, something positive, something I mean, this question comes actually in 63, like in the last line, where is its essence? So yeah, this is what we're doing here. We're looking deep into the body to find an essence, and a positive essence, a wholesome essence. And this we do with the scalpel of discrimination, which means, yeah, it's basically the Manjushri's sword, I think, It's like, the sword that cuts through ignorance. And Manjushri having this sword as an emblem or attribute, I don't know, because Manjushri is the personification of Sherab, discriminating wisdom. This prajna, prajna, yeah. And the other thing is like primordial wisdom, jnana or yeshe. That is not so much the discriminating part, but here we're talking about this parameter number 6, discriminating wisdom, prajna. So with that, we dissect the body, and yeah, let's see what we find. Yeah, I mean, spoiler alert, Shantideva is thinking we we only find ugly things, filthy things, smelly and disgusting things. And so therefore he says here in 63, and having split open, so we separated all the body parts, and now yeah, Effie, this just means what you're saying. What is the meaning of separating the flesh from the skeletal frame? It's just that we separate all the different body parts. We put the skin, let's say, on one heap, and then all the muscles, the flesh on one heap, and then all the skeletons, the bones, basically, on another heap. And what do we have? The other organs on one side, and then all the nails and hairs and teeth into another bowl. So we're separating everything, and now even in 63, we then even open our bones. We split them open, so we crack them, dissecting them. Yes, if we and then we look into the bones and we find the marrow. Yeah, and then of course we could think, oh yeah, is that maybe the wholesome essence? But of course not. The marrow, maybe not with a scalpel, but maybe with a microscope or whatever, you can dissect further. And then there's also nothing really. There's no holy grail inside in the body. But yeah, that is sort of the spoiler alert here. But of course, it's good if we just do it really ourselves. Later maybe, that we really look into each body part and see if there's something that we think is of really big essence. But of course, there's like we know, that we need all these body parts in order to live, to function, and to practice dharma, let's say, and attain enlightenment for the sake of others. And of course, I don't want to miss any part of it. Not a part of my brain I don't want to miss, and not a part of my heart, and all of that. Because they have a good function. And Danielle is, I think, talking about that also. What about the purely functional aspect? Making babies out of the body, making breast milk out of the body, to provide human karmic mind container. That's a nice human karmic mind containers. Human karmic mind for minds that can learn dharma and be helpful. Yes. That's what I meant in the early beginning. That we can really argue with all of this, you know, really. And we can, and as you see, I can't stop but doing that also with every verse. And so, Daniel, welcome to the club. Yes, yes, we can argue with all of this because, and that's what I said in the beginning, it is not the absolute truth, you know, it's not the only method, it's not the best method for everyone. But if you have too much attachment to your body, then that is a possible method to do so. You know, we have that even in the Abhidhamma Kosha. And I think it comes also later again, this ugliness meditation, you know, like where we focus on the negative sides, you know. I know it's a little bit it's interesting, you know, psychologically to do that, especially from a Buddhist point of view, where we always try, especially in Vajrayana, we try to see everything pure and positive, you know. And here intentionally we don't do it, you know. Basically, I didn't read that, but basically for me it looks like we are creating a version to overcome attachment. Um, and that is interesting because aversion, if you read Patrul Rinpoche's Words of a Perfect Teacher, he gives some examples, you know. For him, aversion is worse than attachment because basically in attachment you at least appreciate something, but in aversion you don't. And it's more negative. And also at the beginning of the 6th chapter, Shantideva is also saying anger is really the thing that is the most dangerous thing because it kills all the merit, you know, from past, present, past and present. But anyway, that is at the moment the one of many methods. That is one method that we are looking into at the moment, you know. And as I said, yeah, it's one method out of many, let's say out of 84,000. And of course, I don't know all the others, but basically, yeah, maybe I know, like in groups, you know, 84,000 comes because there are 21,000 methods against attachment, 21,000 methods against aversion, 21,000 methods or antidotes against ignorance, and then I think 21,000 against all of these three together. Okay, let's ignore the last fourth, but so we have 21,000 methods against aversion, and yeah, I guess some of them are employing. So we have 21,000 methods against attachment. That's what I wanted to say. And yes, I guess some of them are employing aversion to counteract attachment. And I think, Danielle, your question comes from the point, yes, normally we are always asked to see the positive thing. And therefore, that is a strange method. And yes, I would agree. And I agree with all of what you said, you know, just on a very relative level even, and a very worldly level even. Your last thing is not so worldly with the Dharma, but you're totally right, you know, on a relative level, yes. Also, I heard once Jigme Khyentse Rinpoche in Canada, he was teaching Bodhicharyavatarā about the 8th chapter. And he also said you can use it like that in a relationship, you know, if you're getting too attached to your partner, then maybe just to counteract that, you know, then you focus a little bit more on what you have aversion to, you know. Don't overdo it, you know, like so that you're not running away from your girlfriend, for example, or your boyfriend. Likewise here also, you know, we don't want to create aversion to the body, you know, like really, so that we kill ourselves, you know, that we hate ourselves and that we get autoimmune diseases. No, we just want just in the right dosage so that we overcome the attachment. And likewise, Jigme Khyentse Rinpoche said there also, if we have aversion to your girlfriend. I think he was saying at that time, like if you're angry, then maybe, yeah, maybe try to see his or her sexiness, and then stimulate a little bit extra the desire, and the attachment to him or her, and that counteracts your anger. Yeah, maybe make up sex, right? That is what it's called. My point here is, yeah, in the right dosage, I think. I mean, apparently, otherwise Jigme Khyentse Rinpoche would not say it, and this Abhidharma method of ugliness meditation would not be taught. So basically, it seems a valid method, Where can I read? Okay, Katharina is asking, where can I read precisely about how relatively life force binds mind with the body? I think the best for me, I heard, I think it's in Pramanavartika in the second chapter. And for me, the Vajrayana explanation is very relevant, even though this here is a Sutra Mahayana class. But yeah, if you study Yönten Rinpoche Tzu, the Treasury of Precious Qualities by Jigme Lingpa, basically, and yeah, the wonderful Padmakara translation team, they translated a commentary by Kanjur Rinpoche, the father of Tulku Jigme Khyentse Rinpoche, Tulku Pema Wange Rinpoche, and Tulku Rangdrol Rinpoche, and many others. Yeah, they translated a commentary by Kanjur Rinpoche on Jigme Lingpa's root verses, and which is actually quite verbatim most of the time with Khenpo Yönga, a great Dzogchen Khenpo. And there in the second volume, which is the 10th chapter on Vajrayana, there you can find a lot in the Dzogchen part. Yeah, I forgot the verses, but it's like 70 to 90 or something in the 10th chapter. There really it explains, No, also in the Kierim part. Yeah, so somewhere there in verse 50 to 90 or something. There Jigme Lingpa is explaining, how yeah, he's talking about four things coming together, like ovum, sperm, then the consciousness and the karmic wind, and this coming together then produces a being. And then the question, how do bodhisattvas prolong life by practices like long life ceremonies? I think it's not so related, right, to what we're discussing, but because for that, aversion to the body doesn't help. Otherwise, he wouldn't do it. But a long life ceremony, of course, is based on another angle or another perspective, which is seeing the precious human life, of, let's say, teachers or other beings. And yeah, if we do it with teachers, let's say with His Holiness the Dalai Lama, since it's his birthday today, then yeah, it's interdependent arising. His compassion wants to manifest among us, but that doesn't work alone. So our part also have to have some devotion or some wish or some faith in him that he is manifesting. So, and if those two come together, the Bodhisattva's compassion and our devotion and trust and wish that this Bodhisattva is here, then if these two come together, then he will manifest. So if we continue like that, and his compassion is sort of not dying, so but our devotion or trust or faith could disintegrate. So therefore it's up to us basically to make our part very strong. So that would be a very Madhyamika point of view, or answer, that it's interdependence of those two factors. But again, that is sort of from another angle, where we see the preciousness of this existence and of the body, which is a good method against aversion, for example, or ignorance or carelessness in regard to our body. But here to continue, because we have to stop in 7 minutes, I'm sorry, we look into verse 64. If even when searching with such effort you can apprehend no essence, then why with so much attachment are you still guarding this body? So even if we search and analyze, very hard, and we can't find a concrete, wholesome essence of the body, that is like worthwhile to get or pinpoint or embrace. So if we analyze and don't find anything in the bodies, then why are we so protective about our body, or why do we have excessive grasping to our body? That is the rhetorical question here. Again, from Vajrayana, we might find some essence, actually, From Vajrayana point of view, we have the bindus, but of course, I'm not sure if they are real, like, matter, but yeah, there may be subtle matter. But anyway, that is not the point here. And then 65, what use is this body to you if it's dirty insides are unfit for you to eat, if its blood is not fit to drink, and if its intestines are not fit to be sucked? Yeah, again, I told you it's not very delicate or subtle how Shantideva is doing it here. Yeah, it's very charming. I really don't know where that comes from. So the question is here, what use is the body? We cannot eat the meat, and we cannot drink the blood, and we cannot suck the intestines. In case you were planning that for later. So this body really has done nothing for us, and will do nothing for us. It's not something holy, so don't get attached to it, Even on a relative level, you could argue, of course, cannibals eat bodies, human bodies, and maybe it's even tasty, I don't know. And yeah, I mean, we eat all kinds of animals, and what I think is proper, like I mean, honestly, I think it's not proper to eat animals, of course, but then in my German culture, it's sort of okay to eat. I don't know, what do we have? Cows, different kind of birds, and what else? Horses, I think, also, and rabbits. Yeah. And then, the French, they eat frogs, and they eat a lot of horses. And then in China, apparently, they eat bats and whatever. So my point is, it's so cultural, I think it's okay. Let's assume I think it's okay to eat a cow, but it's improper to eat a bat or a rat or a dog. But that is so arbitrary, It's and the Chinese, they would, I don't know if there is any animal they don't eat. But so it's very I don't know where I'm going here with this, but it's very much it's all based on our preferences, and it's very culturally bound. But generally, I think it's correct to say humans normally don't eat human meat. But then again, in Vajrayana, to cut that preference, in the Dzog we eat human meat officially. That is one of the ingredients. Okay, that is again out of context here, but just saying, you know, it is a preference for us to not eat something, and therefore we should, in a certain ceremony, we maybe should eat it to overcome the preference. Anyway, here the point is that usually our body is not even useful to as a food, so therefore don't get attached to it. Okay, I think I have to stop soon, but here's one thing of Marina. First, Katja. Yeah, if you're French, I didn't know. Sorry, yeah, but you ate a frog. I never did. So, I think people also eat snails and, of course, snakes and everything. Can you speak a bit about how we can cut attachment to not wanting pain? For example, a memory of a bee sting will make me want to protect my hand, which is attachment to my hand, right? I'm afraid that's a big topic, and let's discuss it next time. But normally, since it's a Mahayana text here, and in the 8th chapter, we talk about Lojong a lot. I just have to mute somebody here. So Tonglen is good, I think. If you have physical pain, you know, then maybe do Tonglen, and with every breath you take, you breathe in the pain of others, physical pain in this example, since that is your topic, and then with every breath you breathe out, you know, you breathe out happiness and painlessness and healthiness and all of that. That would be my quick answer, you know. This you can do with whatever you have, jealousy, you know, and then you wish, like, by breathing in, you know, may all beings be free from pain. May all beings be free from jealousy in the other example, and then you breathe out to all of them, the painlessness. Okay, guys, I have to go. But since today is His Holiness's birthday, I want the dedication, it's to show you from His Holiness the Dalai Lama, where he's quoting one verse of the Bodhichitta. So I play that for you. Thank you for your patience, and sorry that it's short today, and see you soon. I end after the video.
This is my favorite prayer. Daily I pray this. That gives me inner strength. So enthusiasm to serve sentient being, humanity on this one. As long as space remains, and as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain and help dispel the misery of the world. This is my favorite.
Yeah. That's it. Thank you, guys. Take good care and see you soonish.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care. Thank you.